Except this week he ain't here.
I am here, but I'm not stopping.
You are staying, you've been told.
Oh, no, you're not blowing my ear holes out with ruddy heavy metal.
I'm not playing heavy metal. Why, what would you prefer, brass bands?
Yes, or somebody who's ever so good playing piano in a nice hall.
You know what to do then, don't you? You say to Sir Bernard Moore when he gets back from the villa for the villa holiday, I want a show to myself where this is what happens.
I'll colour him straight away.
Yep, that's what to do, you do that. But today we're having what I want.
Hold up, thought you were just, made jam at Wink Mob Show. That's today. What's happened to that?
Oh, I'm not doing that.
Right, why?
'Cause I hate them things, that's why. I can tell good jam from bad, but I ain't prepared to eat equivalent of a wash basin full of the blooming stuff in a hot tent on a Saturday afternoon just to dole out some rosettes to a clutch of bickering women going, I bet she don't even make her own jam. Well, actually, no. I do not make my own jam. My neighbour Pat makes more jam than ever she can cope with, and we do a swap for decoupage.
So what did Bernard say to that then?
Oh, he weren't happy. He pulled up with a slow cooker and tried to persuade me to change my mind. He was here 4 hours.
You mean he had you with your head in a slow cooker for 4 hours? The bloke's cracked, he wants locking up.
No, nothing like that. It's there. Look, he gave it me. It is a Pantry King 3. But when it arrived, he arrived with it. And there it was. But there is no brochure of instructions, no box with a lid and sides, nothing. Where is the box, I thought? Why don't it have a box? Because there clearly isn't one and it should have a box. But there was no box with it.
Did it have a box?
No, and it smelt, and I plugged it in and it don't flipping work. So that's why I'm not stood, fed up, getting fed other people's jam at Wink Mop Show. We're having what I want, and that's what this is, and this is music.
Well, I'm going before you blow windows hurt.
No, wait. How do I switch this off when I've finished?
Turn that all the way to nothing, push that, wait till bulb goes out, then switch that from on to off, fetch plug out in case there's a thunderstorm, that's it.
Swirl this knob.
What are you doing?
Oh, blimey, I didn't realise. Have I broke it?
Never mind. Right, I've watered them plants, I'm going.
All right, thank you, Uncle Elliot Campey. I shall see you anon.
See you anon.
Ta-da! He has brought me 6 eggs, and a cabbage, and a cauliflower, and a dahlia that may flower quite soon, and he has watered round. All the plants have had a drink. Right, the sun is out, the brick is off. Let's have a bit of music. Here we go.
This is a story for all those people out there who want freedom and love and beef in their life. And all the best of luck to you if you want that. What is this thing? I feel for you. What is this thing? I feel for you. Affection for you. What is this thing you gave to me? This thing that throbs so painfully. It's an infection. Oh dearie me. What is this thing? Outside my house, a sneaky stranger in a van. Moving about, it's a distraction. Moving about. I will never forget the moment I first clapped eyes on Suzy Chainsaw, the world's most beautiful woman. She was smoking a menthol cigarette leaning against the children's swings, and she looked at me with her one eye that was not made of glass and said, "Can I have £15, boy?" And I said, yes, even though I did not have £15. I went to a bus shelter, beat up an old woman and her son, and stole £15 and gave it to Suzy. And then she moved into my back bedroom, and is now in there eating a beef sandwich and drinking some brandy that I have stolen for her. And later on we are going to steal a hatchback and take off into the night on our crime spree that is unstoppable. What is this thing they've come to do?
Open this door.
Raiding my house,
Have the place surrounded.
searching for clues.
Come out with your hands above your head.
It's a police inspection.
Don't try anything.
The boys in blue.
Okay. Smash the door in. Fire and will. Fire and will.
That was pop, synth-pop local pop band Promiser with their song What Thing Is This? And that is the start of a side A on a newly released album you can get from the post office or Kendall's or off the band members themselves. And one of them is here in my front room to tell us all about it. I should like to welcome Adam Fairbrother.
Hello, Mrs. Disco. Thanks for the orange.
You're very welcome. You're very wet. Is it raining? I didn't see any on the window.
No, I was stood at your back door, and a man leant out of the window above and sprayed a hanging basket of flowering plants. I was stood under.
Not again. I am sorry. You see, when I do it, I stand on the small step ladder properly with the watering can, but Uncle Elliot Campey, if he is here, he is in such a rush and he uses the shower head, and it's quicker, but people have been caught out before. There's
I'm
a tea
okay,
towel
really.
there.
Just glad to be on TV.
You ain't on TV. This is local radio, this.
Yes, I understand.
I hope so. Right. Now, the new Promiser LP, it is called Suzy and Clunkus, Adventures in Love and Space.
Yes.
And it tells a story in 8 songs of a 29-year-old man who falls in love with an older woman. And they steal a car and have all these adventures and things. Is it based on real life, would you say?
Oh, yeah. I'd say maybe 99% of it.
What, 99% of it's true? So you actually beat up an old woman and her son in a bus shelter? That's appalling.
No, they beat me up. Thinking about it, it's more like 50-50. 50% true, and the rest is altered, defactualized truth. I was pounced upon by the sun, and the old woman laid into me with one of them walking sticks, with the pointed prong and the 2 handles. You poke the prong in soil, and the handles fold apart to make this kind of really uncomfortable seat. They nicked my shopping and fled on their mobility scooters into dense mist.
Oh, how awful. Did the cops catch them?
I don't know actually whether they did or not, but the 2 policemen whom I spoke to, I asked them if they would do a conversation on their walkie-talkies for us to use on the song Fun Time, and they both agreed wholeheartedly.
That's at the end of Fun Time, which is next. Suzy and Clunkus have pinched the car and somehow got away, although it did sound like they were done for at the end of the last song.
Suzy has outwitted the cops with stealth, and they make a streak for freedom.
Is Suzy based on someone you know?
Yeah, she was my wife, but the marriage did not last.
Oh dear, how long did it last?
About 10 hours. Her name wasn't Suzy. I used the artistic licensing and made that up. Her real name was Suzanne.
Oh, excuse me. Who did her singing on the record? Was that a tough role to find someone for to sing that?
I went through in my head all the voices of women I know, what they sound like, and one stood out to be the loudest voice, and that was Diane Birdedare.
Is Diane a professional singer?
No. She works at the swimming baths on Bitby Lane. The voice you hear over the loudspeakers, that is Diane's voice. Poolside attendant to reception, please. I went round to the swimming baths to ask if they wanted their carpets shampooing electrically, and Diane showed me they had only the one carpet in this office, and it was kind of beyond being cleaned. It was pretty embarrassing. But I asked her if she would pretend to be my former wife, Suzy, and sing on the record, and she said yes, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Here's Diane Birdedare having a lot of fun with Promiser and Funtime.
Fun time. Let's do this.
The future's important because once it's gone, it's the past. And while we're in it now, you know what they call that? Well, at the moment they call it stuck on this ruddy ring road. Where do you think you're going? That was supposed to be left turn.
In my head opinion, crime does not pay. I mentioned this to Suzy as as we were speeding away in the hatchback we'd stolen, along with its contents, 11 tins of Perry and a packet of breath mints. This must be how it would seem to finally be living the dream, no longer in a capsule of gloom. The past is gone, the future's coming soon. This is it, the open road, illuminated by a fog lamp, show us where to go. Susie's drinking the Perry, I am eating the mints. I just got to tell you, it don't get much more better than this. This must be how it would seem to finally be living the dream, no longer in a capsule of gloom. The past is gone, the future's coming soon.
After the yacht to the anti-INE, it's fun time!
This is the greatest fun I have ever had.
Fast as I can.
Just trying to read the map.
Right, don't you know where we are? Can't you find your way about?
We have ventured into territory that is strange to me.
We've got two other arresters, give me a can!
There is only one left.
So what?
There were 11. I was intending to have one of the 11 cans.
Can't be clunked at steering column and slurping from a tin at the same time. It's unethical.
We've gone wrong someplace.
Well, that's we're not looking at map and gas.
Maybe I'd better pull over and ask navigations from a kindly woodland sprite. If only I knew where we were, or even our location, or even the place that this place is.
Flautist of the woodland, guide us out of danger. Lend a helping hand to two lost criminal strangers. Direct us in the direction of the nearest fast food place. I'll see you are rewarded with a tray of onion rings. Don't know where we are, run out of gas. Susie threw up and fainted. I'm picking glass out of her feet. She threw away her shoes. She said, no longer shall I walk because I'm flying on booze. This must be how it would seem to finally be living the dream, no longer in a capsule of gloom. The past is gone, the future's coming soon.
This is calling all cars, calling all cars. Anybody seen them two trying to get away in hatchback? You're supposed to be chasing them on Ring Road. A certain woman, foul mouth, 5 feet tall, permed cream hair, and that little chap with glasses on a string and a woolly hat escaping in hatchback. Over.
This is car 5-5. We lost him on the Ring Road. Over.
Lost him on Ring Road. How come? Over.
They turned off the road and went into the haunted forest. Over.
Oh, let's have to contact military. They'll be heading for that secret, top secret military base that's really secret. Over.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Over.
Right, I'm gonna have to go on to higher authority about this. What are you doing? What are you doing tonight? Over.
Going to the boozer. Over.
Yeah, me too. You going with some other cops, like? Over.
Yeah, we'll be going with some other cops, like. Over.
Okay, see, which pub are you going to? Over.
We're going to the Royal Oak. Over.
I don't know which Royal Oak you mean. Over.
The one near the station. Over.
Oh yeah, I've heard they've done it up. Over.
Yeah, they've done it up. Over.
Right, well, see you later then. I don't knock off till 7:30. See you later then. But Andrea?
You're listening to the Sir Bernard Moore Show. I'm Mrs. Disco, playing the new album by Promiser, a local pop band, and with me in my front room to tell me and you all about it is the singer Adam Fairbrother.
It is a thrill to be sat here.
We've just heard Funtime, I nearly said that wrong, didn't I? Fun Time, which is finished, and it finished up with a genuine, real pair of coppers having a good old natter over their radios, didn't it?
They didn't read the lines, but I was scared to ask them to do it again because I thought they might arrest me.
Did I hear one of them mention a top secret military base at one point?
Yeah, no, just for the record, I would like any secret agents and government officials listening to this to rest assured that I have never approached a military installation of any kind with the intended intention of a breach of national security in a restricted area. Some of this stuff is semi-autobiographical, but that bit is completely made up and not by me.
Right, can we talk a bit about Suzy?
Suzy in the songs, or Suzy the real Suzy who isn't called Suzy?
Well, a bit of both, but mainly the real Suzy, Suzanne. How did you two meet?
How I met Suzy in the song is just how it was. She was leaning against swings, and she asked me if I had £15, and in 3 to 5 seconds I fell very deeply in love with her.
Was she older than you?
Oh yeah, over twice as old. She said she was 48, but her driving licence stated a greater age, 68.
She must have been in good shape to appear so, alluring. That's the word, isn't it? Alluring at 68, even if she looked 48.
She didn't look 48, she did look 68. If I had several cans, and it was night, and we were sat in the car with upbeat romantic music on, she looked 48. Until she said something, and then she sounded 68.
I'm struggling a bit to see what the attraction was, sorry.
All my life till then I had done as I was told to, and Suzy didn't. She didn't care, she just did things and awaited the consequence, and often there was no consequence. Other times there were, like if she got drunk and fell down in pub toilets and needed pushing home wrapped in foil in a shopping trolley. It made me feel like a gallant knight in the days of bows and arrows and cholera.
Did you steal a car then? The pair of you?
In a way, yes. However, I was under this illusion that we were only borrowing it off a friend of Suzy's called Bobo, who had given us this mission we had chosen to accept, to drive to the seaside and fetch him this reclinable garden chair and accompanying cushions. Once we got to the seaside, Suzy immediately seemed to forget about this and stayed up many hours eating tablets and drinking fortified wine with a man called Skewer, who had a motorbike.
This Bobo, then, did he ever see his car again, Bobo?
Bobo turned out to be a stuffed bear made of polyester with plastic eyes, and he lived in Suzy's bedroom. I don't know how he inquired about the garden chair, but he certainly couldn't drive. Whose hatchback it really was I will never know, because it got left on a vast beach of fine sand, and 6 hours later, water was over the bonnet. Then, 10 hours later, water was over the roof. The following morning when we were to drive home, there was no water, and only vast fine sand for miles, and no hatchback.
Oh, crikey, it'd be washed out to sea.
Suzy wanted us to wait for the ocean to pull the hatchback in on the tide. Then we could scrape the sand off and let the fish out and drive home, but I persuaded her to get on a bus. I mean, if you think about it, if the ocean had returned the hatchback, it's probably not going to work, especially if the seawater flowed inside. And it would have done, because Suzy always left the window down, so the smoke drifts out.
Oh, no, it'd not come back. I've heard of cars being washed away, and they go all the way across the world and end up in Scotland.
Right.
Yep. On with the album, I reckon this next tune is called We Are in a Woodland.
No, We in a Woodland.
Oh, yeah. We in a... Is that right?
It's like a poem. Picture yourself in a tranquil woodland glade.
Oh, how lovely. Right, this is Promiser featuring Hazel Sprouter on the banjo with We in a Woodland.
To transgress, break the law, commit a crime, throw caution to the foul four winds of time, to pinch a hatchback, lift one, nick, thieve, steal, and guided blind, sweat-soaked palms at the wheel. Behind, becloaked in darkness, lies the past, a world of quiet routine broke at last. Ahead, my head's hard thinking thrown. I know not what I don't know, the unknown. Our stallion, behemoth, mighty hatchback, dead. No petrol in the petrol tank, it said. All 4 tires full of air, on those we sped. But no more go, the empty bulb shone red. My vomit slithered darling in my arms, my dearest Suzy, comatose. She calms my fears, despite not one small word. A gurgling sound and wheezing's all I heard. Oh, woodland sprite with flute on which you toot, and woodland lute on which you play the lute. What, where, why did you guide us in this wood? To to trample broken bracken, slog through mud. So empty is the night, the tins of Perry. So empty is my mind, the Perry tins. And full of fear am I, of fear full, very. Yet full of hope there's something in them bins. A scrap, perhap, of mushroom slice maybe. But no, alas, fag packets is all I see. With weary little legs I tumbled down, and through the tumbled too onto the ground. Smothered nearly was I by her breasts, in this, our sanctuary, our woodland nest. Tall towering trees all round will be our wall, and leaves weave wide our roof should rain befall. This hideaway's our wondrous woodland hall. I think it's great, I do not mind it at all. Dear spider, flea and fly and centipede, sweetworm and woodlouse moths of every breed, good scholars of the forest, treat us kind, that should fair morning's smile bring peace of mind. My Suzy and I, although wandered far, might get a better idea of where we are. But now, good night, my insect friends. Tomorrow's new day beckons. This one ends.
That was a new tune by local pop band Promiser. The album is Suzy and Clunkus, Adventures in Love and Space. I'm Mrs. Disco and you're listening to the Sir Bernard Moore Show. Clunkus, is that a stage name? How did you end up getting called that?
And apparently as a small child, I had this blue plastic rake and used to go around hitting people with it saying, clunk! And so they would say, don't clunk us, so clunkers, clunkers, clunkers.
All right. Well, Suzy and Clunkus have avoided the cops with no petrol, so they're in them woods for the night, camping out under the stars. Did that ever happen? Was Suzy the real Suzy Suzanne? Did she like
No way, never. She hated the outside. Plants, trees, insects, crows. None of that interested her at all. I think her favourite plant was probably taters. Potatoes, preferably fried with salt and red sauce and sausages.
She wasn't one for a romantic stroll?
If we did, we had to step on tarmac paths, and there had to be bins and toilets and ideally shops and pubs. And if it was at night, there had to be street lighting, and it must not flicker.
She sounds quite demanding, if you ask me. What did she like doing?
She liked sitting in pubs, drinking brandy and lemonade, and telling jokes that had swearing in them. She liked to try and win the jackpot on the arcade machine. She liked singing pop songs with the radio on very loud. She always had dog biscuits in her pocket, and if we saw dogs, she liked to provide the dogs with the biscuits, which surprised them, and they'd be her best friend. She liked going for chips to the shop on the end of the road, or going in the car for chips to another fish shop further afield to do a comparison. She liked to ring the council to complain about dog milk. She liked TV shows where somebody gets someone pregnant and then this causes this fight at a wedding. She loved that.
I can tell you miss her a lot.
I do miss them things, but there was a lot of times that I don't miss. The next song, Dawn Above Perception, it features this guy who is loosely based on a drug dealer Suzy used to go and visit.
Suzy was on drugs?
And,
Oh my word. Not drugs.
His name was Antoine or something, and he lived in this bungalow with the curtains drawn and a blocked toilet, and he had 2 TVs on all the time with no sound. He sits about eating crisps in a dressing gown with long hair and no energy, so...
It sounds like a ruddy crank.
Suzy said he had psychic powers, and he could lift a cup up just by staring at it.
Like a conjurer's trick.
Yeah, but he could not do it. I said to him, go on then, lift the cup up, but nothing happened. He said it was my fault, which makes no sense, but...
Doorknob of Perception, last song on side A and our last song this week.
Wow, yes. The Richard Doorknob character, just quick, although it's based on the drug dealer Antoine, he is in real life a landlord of a pub called The Dell, where it's really old-fashioned. I mean, he is about 78 or 79, I think. And we gave him a bottle of beer and the song's lyrics on paper, and he just did it like his life was the life of a professional singer.
Oh, crikey. And what's his name?
He is Walter Hall-Wallace, and he is one of the nicest, kindest blokes you could ever meet. After he did his bit of singing, they had a lock-in at the Dell, but I couldn't go because I had conjunctivitis.
Oh. Here it is then, we've just got time. Promiser featuring Walter Hall-Wallace and Diane Birdedare with Doorknob of Perception.
Good morning. My name is Richard Doorknob. Creeping round the woods is my job. Sowing seeds of satisfaction 7 days a week.
That's my calling since that appalling radiation leak. Years ago, reversing my tractor, I fell in a nuclear reactor. But instead of killing me like with mostly average men, it gave me special powers, and I have had them powers since then. Just doing a little dance. I brew the woodland berries, spew the stalks and seeds, pluck the mystic mushrooms and dry out enchanted weeds. Oh, so many remedies grow naturally as shrubs. I nip to town on a Friday night and sell 'em in the pubs. Lo and behold, these snoozing villains, tired out from all their thefts and killings. This must be the pair who pinched the hatchback, don't you know? I heard all about it in my three-wheel van on the radio. Pinch of powder, 2 or 3 pills on your tongues and up your nostrils.
Hey man, what are you doing with them doublets? What are those? And why might you be poking powder up my girlfriend's nose?
You, the nerve of you have to make your fingers there.
Suzy, this dude must be a woodland sprite. I think we should beware.
Is he? 'Cause like a woodland sprite, he drives that old three-wheeler. It's Richard Donob, that's his name, the radioactive drug dealer. And you druggy, thump him.
Come here.
Thump him. Oh, he's gone. Oh, well.
I would have punched him in the head.
I know you would.
But lickety-split, he up down fled.
Yeah.
With his weird concoctions and his herbal snouts and a detailed knowledge of our whereabouts. One quick phone call, I assume, and here come the cops. Vroom, 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 vroom. Vroom, vroom.
The cops! You must be joking!
Nope, it's them. They are approaching.
Quick, hide, follow me, quick, behind this tussock!
I tripped and tumbled and bruised my buttock. Suzy.
Get behind the tussock!
You are in a restricted
Get behind the tussock!
What?
Get behind the tussock!
What?
Get behind the tussock!
We won't let you get away, not this time. There'll be a ridiculous, you know.
What?
Come back here and get behind the tussock!
What?
Stay where you are, and wave both hands in the air.
They can see you!
Suzy.
They can see you!
You are both under arrest, obviously.
What?
Cuff 'em, boys. Do not put the dogs to butts. They have strict dietary requirements.
So the cops have caught up with them.
Yes.
Well, time's caught up with us, and that is it for this week. Next week we shall hear more of the adventures of Suzy and Clunkus on the B-side. Till then, Brick goes back on. That's that. I am saying cheerio.
Bye.
Yes, we shall return next week
Bye.
with more music from Promiser. Fingers crossed. Now, swirl that note.